In a quiet Brazilian town called Três Corações, Three Hearts, under the warmth of an October sun in 1940, a child was born into a world that had no idea he would soon change it. His name was Edson Arantes do Nascimento, but the world would know him by a different name, a simpler name, one that would become legend, Pelé. From the start, life was humble. His father, Dundinho, had once dreamed of being a football star himself but had to give up those dreams to support his family. He worked as a laborer, as a janitor, doing whatever he could to put food on the table. But he never let go of the game. In the evenings, when the world slowed down, he'd play with the local team and with his son. Little Edson would watch in awe. It was in these moments, under lantern light and on dusty fields, that a spark was lit. Pelé's first ball wasn't made of leather. It was made of rags tied with string. Sometimes, it was a grapefruit. He didn't need anything fancy, just a dream and space to run. In the narrow alleys of Bauru, where his family later moved, he played barefoot with friends, their laughter echoing through the streets, their imaginations building stadiums where there were none. At just 11 years old, he formed a youth team called the Shoeless Ones, no money for boots, no uniforms, just raw love for the game. And even then, something about him stood out. He moved differently. He saw the game as a language. Every touch, every step, every glance was a sentence in the story he was writing. By the age of 15, Pelé was already catching the attention of scouts. He joined Santos FC, and it didn't take long before he was playing with the first team. The world was about to meet him. He was small, lean, smiling. But the moment the whistle blew, defenders quickly learned that this boy was untouchable. He scored on his debut. Then he scored again. And again. And then again. Goals came naturally to him, as if he were born to find the net. Santos rose to the top of Brazilian football, and Pelé became its crown jewel. Fans filled stadiums to see this wonder kid, and newspapers began writing about the teenage phenomenon. But he didn't let it change him. He still greeted everyone with respect. He still helped his mother clean the house. In 1958, at just 17 years old, Pelé was selected for the Brazilian national team heading to the World Cup in Sweden. He was the youngest player in the tournament, and he wouldn't just participate, he would define it. In the semi-final against France, he scored a hat-trick. In the final, he scored twice, including a beautiful volley where he flicked the ball over a defender and struck it before it hit the ground. Brazil lifted its first-ever World Cup, and the boy from Três Corações cried tears of joy. Pelé had arrived. And the world would never be the same. After 1958, Pelé became more than a footballer, he became a symbol of joy, of unity, of what sport could be. He was invited to play around the world, and whenever Santos FC toured Europe or Africa or Asia, thousands would come out just to see Pelé. There's a story from 1969, during a brutal civil war in Nigeria. When Santos arrived to play an exhibition match, a 48-hour ceasefire was declared so both sides could watch Pelé. The power of peace in a pair of boots. He wasn't the tallest, nor the fastest, but he had vision. He had grace. He would sprint, stop, twist, turn, and then pass with a soft touch that left defenders frozen. He was like liquid light, moving through space with elegance, purpose, and joy. He won the World Cup again in 1962, though an injury kept him out of most of the tournament. And again in 1970, in Mexico, the first World Cup broadcast in color. That tournament showed the world what beauty looked like in motion. Pelé led a team filled with talent, Jairzinho, Tostão, Rivellino. Brazil didn't just win, they danced. The final was against Italy. Pelé rose for a header. A powerful leap that felt like he had wings. He scored. Later, he assisted 2 more goals. Brazil won 4-1. And Pelé raised his hands to the sky. A 3-time World Cup winner. A record that still stands. He had become immortal. But Pelé never forgot who he was. He gave money to struggling players. He visited sick children. He stayed close to the people. After retiring from international football, he played briefly in the United States with the New York Cosmos, bringing the sport to a country that had yet to fully embrace it. Thousands came just to see him. Young children chanted his name. One of those kids would grow up to be another legend, David Beckham. Pelé inspired not just footballers, but musicians, dancers, dreamers. His humility made him beloved. His smile, wide and pure, lit up every room he entered. He was once asked if he believed in magic. He replied, "Yes. I lived it every time I touched the ball." He was later appointed a UNESCO Goodwill Ambassador, and he campaigned for children's rights, access to education, and clean water. He met presidents and popes, hugged orphans, and always said that his greatest honor was being a father and a Brazilian. Pelé scored 1,281 goals in 1,363 games. But the numbers are only part of the tale. The rest is felt in the heartbeat of every football fan. Every time a child juggles a ball barefoot in an alley. Every time a crowd rises in unison for a beautiful goal. He once said, "A penalty is a cowardly way to score." He believed football should be about beauty, not just results. He believed in the joy of the game. Let Pelé's story be a lullaby, a reminder that greatness often begins in small, forgotten places. That love, humility, and imagination can lift someone from the slums to the stars. Sleep to the rhythm of his journey. Rest in the glow of his light. And remember, legends never die. They become the dreams we carry with us. Boa noite. Good night. On December 29, 2022, Pelé passed away at the age of 82. The world mourned, not just Brazil, but every continent where his magic had once danced. Stadiums went quiet. Jerseys were hung in tribute. And candles were lit across the globe. But Pelé didn't leave us. Not really. He lives in murals on Brazilian walls, in bedtime stories whispered to children, in YouTube videos watched late at night, and in the dreams of every young player who believes that anything is possible with a ball at their feet. Tonight, as your eyes grow heavy, imagine a young boy running barefoot under the Brazilian moonlight. Hear the distant drums of samba. Feel the warm breeze. And watch, in your mind's eye, as he takes a shot, and the world changes.